All right. Well, I want to thank you again, and I want to welcome everybody here for our 28 to Elevate introduction class. And as you know, this is Dr. Nazella empowering you to live healthfully and abundantly. And I am super, super excited about this next 28 days that we're going to start on January the 3rd, less than a month. And we're really going to look at how we can just be closer to reaching our goals and being our best self in the coming year. So, I first of all want to just really welcome you. And most of you know a little bit about me, but I really just want to share. I'm going to be on this journey with you because I'm really excited at the end of the year, at least about where my health is. Because when I did my last doctor's visit in December, it was so exciting because at my age, she kind of looked at all my stats and she said, "Oh my goodness," she said, "your stats look like you're 15 years younger." And she said, "You're making my day," because I've had all these really sick people come in. I've had people I've had to send to the hospital. And she said, "Your cholesterol, your heart, all this stuff is looking really good." And I'm not even on any medications. And I don't say that to brag. To God be the glory, because but I want you to know that has not always been my health journey. I mean, I was sick as a kid a lot. I would faint, I'd be dizzy, I didn't have the energy that most people had. My mother would take me to the doctor because she was really concerned. She didn't think it was normal. And they would tell her that it was just all in my head, that everything was fine. It was all in my head. And so my mother didn't want to buy that. And so she started looking at other things. And she pretty much started looking at holistic alternative solutions to help me have a life that was more like most children. So I wasn't as sick when I was home. But let me tell you, my mother was way ahead of her time when it came to nutrition and wellness. And when I got married, I decided, my mother's not here. I'm going to adopt the standard American diet. And so I did that. When we first got married, we were in Illinois, and I got so sick within the first 3 months that we were married. I was so sick that I couldn't get out of the bed. I was so tired. And I'll never forget because a friend came over and she said, you need to see this doctor that I go to and see if he can help you. And it was kind of strange because he believed that food was medicine. And back then, nobody believed that. I know that's hard to believe now, but back then, nobody believed that. And so I went to this doctor, and it was amazing because he just did one little blood test. And rather than send me home with some medicines, he sent me home with a diet. He sent me home with some nutrition supplements, which people didn't do. But what stuck with me was when he said, "Young lady, if you don't make some lifestyle changes now, you're going to have diabetes by the time you're in your 30s and 40s." And I thought about that, man. And it's like diabetes ran in my family, as did heart disease. And I didn't want that. So that kind of started my health journey. And I started looking at ways that I could improve my health. I could live in a way that I didn't have to be like everyone in the family. And we learned that it's not genetic. And people used to tell you it's genetic. We learned it's lifestyle. And so I was a lot better when I felt better in 2 weeks after he gave me the diet and the way I needed to change things. In 5 months, I felt better than I felt in my entire life. I had more energy I ever had. But one of the milestones in my journey was when somebody um, introduced me to essential oils. And I had respiratory issues. I had this chronic cough, and a friend came over and she rubbed about 5 oils on my feet. Thought it was kind of strange, but then it was like I could breathe better. And I thought, oh my goodness. And so that started my journey looking into Young Living. And first I thought they were crazy networking marketing company. I thought the oils were too expensive. First of all, I didn't understand their business model. And secondly, I didn't understand the quality of the oils. And so now I'm excited to share about both when it comes to Young Living and the oils. And when we talk about this 28 to Elevate, one of the things that excites me is that it's not just, you're not going to be talking about New Year's resolutions. You're going to be talking about setting some lifestyle habits. When we teach wellness, when I was at the university, we realized that it was more to it than just giving people a diet and telling them to make some changes. So I'm pretty excited to have you here. Pretty excited about getting started on here on this journey with you. So we'll move on. I want you to kind of get an overview. You have downloaded your workbook and just an overview of what we're going to be doing in about the next 4 weeks. First of all, we're going to create a foundation. We're going to create a foundation that's going to be uniquely yours. And then we're going to talk about food and fitness. But again, we're going to talk about it in terms of how that works with you. And then we'll talk about what things need to happen in your environment, your physical environment, your relationships, some things there. And then we'll talk about cleansing, and that which gets us into what we're really wanting to see is that transformation. And I think you're just going to be really excited, but that transformation requires body, soul, and spirit. So just a reminder of how this is working. You should have downloaded your free 28 to Elevate workbook. That's the first thing. And then beginning January the 3rd, look for daily emails. And if you're starting this later, then as soon as you register, then the daily emails will start to come. I would encourage you, if you're on now and you're starting now, that you would try to bring somebody along with you. They can still register. Have them do this with you. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Each day, your workbook is going to have an activity for you to do. And the reason we're doing this is the first of the year is because it just sets the tone of the whole year for you. And so you want to block out time for you so that you can be running and be your best self the rest of the year. And that's going to be key. Around week 4, you're going to get a second workbook that's like, it's because it's going to be the 5-day cleanse. We're going to try to put this up in the website, on the Facebook page, because you may need that. And it also is going to have a page for goal setting, because the last week is when you're going to be doing your cleanse, and it kind of ties it all together. I also really encourage you to share your journey with others. We have the Facebook group page for you to share, to ask questions. Shared with others. Again, bring others along with you. This is a free program. Many would pay hundreds of dollars to do this program that you're getting for free. And then also visit our team page. If you're not in the group, please let me know. We'll get you in the group there. And then each of you has an opportunity during this time to schedule an individual consult. And to do that, that's going to be in your book. You'll see down at the bottom where we'll tell you there's a QR code where you can go to schedule a consult, where we'll be able to really, a coaching session, and we'll be able to really talk to you about your specific goals. And then I really want you to think about celebrating your small successes along the way. Sometimes we get so excited about big goals that we forget to celebrate just the small things that are happening. And just the fact that you have committed to being here right now. Hey, let's give it a thumbs up. Give yourselves a hand, a pat on the back, because you have committed. Go ahead. I want to see you do that, because you have committed to this right now, and you should be congratulated. Well, let's talk a little bit about each of the sections. The first thing we want to do is make sure that we build a foundation, okay? So rather than jump right in with a diet, jump right in with some do's and don'ts, we want you to start with, why are you doing this? And your workbook is going to ask you to put this down. It's going to ask you your why. And when we ask people to think about your why, your first why and why you're doing this, okay, because I want to be a better person. What does a better person look like? Ask that why again. Well, a better person is kind of fit. Okay, but ask it again. What's a fit person? Well, when I'm fit, I can kind of do some things with the kids, and so why do you want to do that? Well, I want to enjoy them. I want to be able to teach them. And why do you want to do that? Because I really want to be able to live long and build into their lives and have a legacy. So I want you to keep asking that why deep. Okay. We're not going to look at goals and things in an ambiguous way. And the why is important. That's why Simon Sinek said you start with the why. Jesus would ask, do you want to be well? And I remember my mother thinking, that seems so cruel when somebody would come to Jesus, they were sick, and he would first ask them, do you want to be well? It should have been a no-brainer. But honestly, sometimes we really don't want it. Sometimes we don't. So the question is, do we really want it? How bad? So first of all, we're going to talk about that why. then you're going to actually be looking at what your wellness wheel looks like, because this is not just one thing. It's the total holistic person. Going to be doing a lot with mindset, okay? How you think, what you think about yourself. That has a lot to do with your freeing yourself up to be able to be your best self. We'll talk a little bit about self-care. We're going to talk about physical activity and movement. We'll talk about your life purpose and relationships. But on the wellness wheel, you're going to start out by actually rating where you are today. And then you're going to set some goals. Goals cannot be ambiguous. An ambiguous goal is, I just want to be a better person. I just want to lose weight. I just want to be the right side. Those are ambiguous. We want goals that you are going to see the result. And you'll see in your workbook exactly how those goals are made, okay? And then I really want you to take some time to think about, what are your stressors? What are the things that cause you to resist making change in your life? Are there people? Sometimes people don't want to change. If you're around a lot of people that overeat and they're a little bit overweight, you want to continue to be a part of that group. You don't want to hear them say you eat like a bird, okay? So think about it. Are there people that cause you? Are there some limiting beliefs? Are there some beliefs that if I don't eat everything on my plate, I'm wasting? There's a limiting belief, I'm never going to be any better. It's a limiting belief. You've always been the fat kid. So what are some limiting beliefs? You want to be aware of those. What are some situations that you're in? Again, the group, the environment that might be really making it difficult for you to be successful. And then we want you to really understand you. And so you're going to do some things. You're going to have an opportunity to do some personality tests, kind of go online and see what your personality is, because it has a lot to do with how you create your goals, your lifestyle, how you set up a lifestyle that's going to be best for you. And then lastly, very important, is going to be mindfulness, meditation, and self-awareness. And we talk a lot about how important it is to meditate. And I can tell you, meditation is different from prayer. Sometimes people are praying and they are so tense and there's so much anxiety and so much stress. The body is not reading that as being helpful. It's reading it as being stressful. And so meditating, really doing the deep breathing, and this doesn't require that you use the essential oils, but if you're using the essential oils, you're going to get, it's going to be enhanced, because just like we put, I'm using Hope right here, this oil here, which actually it has some frankincense and myrrh in it. I love it. But remember that scent tent and the deep breathing. Let's just do that. Even if you don't have an oil, if you have an oil there, put it on. But I want you right now to just do the deep breathing with me. I want you, when you deep breathe, I want you to breathe in. Your tummy should be like a balloon and it should go out like a balloon. We're going to do it to the count of 4. And then we're going to push all that air out of your tummy, just like we were pushing it out of a balloon, to the count of 4. Want to do that. Do this with me. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe it out, 2, 3, 4. Let's do it again. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Again, breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. We just did 5. I recommend doing that, doing 10 of those 3 times a day. Just doing that helps lower your cortisol, helps lower your pressure, helps really bring you down in balance. So we're going to have some practice with that. People have to practice deep breathing. We take it for granted. And then you're going to be doing some checking in and some reflecting. And again, I really encourage you to be sharing some of that with the rest of us on the Facebook group. Then we get into the second week, is when you finally start talking a little bit about food. But even then, we're going to talk about what are some things that you've done before that have worked. What have you done that's been real discouraging for you? Okay. And then we'll talk about Your words. How do you talk to yourself? Do you call yourself stupid? Do you call yourself dumb? All of those the brain takes in. Okay. So, how you speak to yourself. Many of us would never speak to people the way we talk to ourselves. So, let's look at ways that we can talk kindly to one another. That's where conscious language, be conscious of the language you're using. Is it kind? Is it beautiful? Is it wonderful? Is a reflection of the Lord Jesus Christ when you're speaking your language. Speak gratitude, personal affirmations. Not I want to do better, but I will do better. I'm destined to do better. Okay. Visualize your best self. Visualize yourself achieving the goals that you want. We also do a little bit with how you can overhaul your pantry, how you can have things that are available that are going to really help you. Your body's a temple of God. So you want to put things in the temple of God that He would want for you. And He's made that clear what needs to go in. But we want to keep it simple. We'll talk about some ways to plan. You'll get some ideas for how to prep. One of the things is keeping the healthiest foods handy. So yes, I love potato chips. That is one of those foods that's really hard for me to resist. So I don't buy a lot of them at Sam's Club and have them in the pantry because I will eat them all. I only buy them when I'm out a lot of times. Okay. Using clear containers so you can see what's in your refrigerator. All of these kinds, there's going to be several ideas and hints. Keep in mind, we eat with our eyes, we eat with our nose, and we eat with memories. So being aware of that also has a lot to do with what we take in. And then they're going to give you some food hacks, talk about your relationship with the kitchen. And then when it comes to fitness, we're talking more about movement. So again, we'll ask you to think about what are some things that have really worked for you? What are things you just really hate? Some ways some people like to move, other people are like, I don't like that at all. We want you to think about what you enjoy, what gives you joy when you're moving. And then what are some tools you have? Are there some apps? Are there some YouTubes? You don't have to have a membership in the gym to be moving. And so we're going to talk to you about in your emails, there'll be some ways that you can move without even having to spend very much money at all. So that's going to be your second week. Your third week, you're really going to be looking at the environment and starting off with stress, because we know that stress causes the body to age faster. We know that communities that have been marginalized, when you eliminate all the other factors, the one factor that really has to do with their decrease in or their increase in death risk is the fact that they're living marginalized in a dominant culture. So stress is very, very real. And that constant stress takes a toll on the body. It ages the body. So we want to look at some ways that you can manage that stress, even when you don't think it's there. We'll look at what has worked for you and then what we might try differently. We'll talk about the importance of eliminating chemicals. Chemicals reduce your body's natural ability to function. And there are a lot of things that we cannot control. We cannot control the pollution. We can't control some of the things in our urban culture, but we can control what we put on our body. We can control what we put in our body. We can really control some things about the air quality in our homes. And what you want to do is reduce your toxic load. The more things that are coming at you, the more difficult it is for the body to function the way God designed it. And so it's going to be really important to look at ways to reduce your toxic load. And that's pretty easy. We'll talk about clutter, physical clutter, mental clutter, and then what brings you joy. Because that in itself, just having that attitude of joy really affects your overall ability to have wellness. We'll talk about who's in your life. Relationships. We'll talk about some ways that you can have fun with friends. And with the stress, we know that movement and physical activity really help with reducing stress. So we're going to talk about how you can put together a little home workout. Okay, a home workout that's going to just be so awesome for you to be able to do it anytime. So you don't have any excuse not to be moving and have some fun. And then we're going to get ready for the pre-cleanse by doing some reflection there. That last week is when we actually do the cleansing, which leads into the transformation. And you are going to get another book, that's another workbook that is just for the cleansing. So be looking for that. We're going to put it in the Facebook group for you. It'll be in an email that's coming to you, but it's going to have the 5-day clean eating cleanse. So it'll have the kind of the details of the cleanse. It's going to have the foods in it, talk about what foods are most healthful. That's where you're going to have recipes. It's got some shopping list in it and a little bit more help that you're going to get for your fitness. And so you're really, really going to appreciate this as you move into it. And like I said, this particular book is going to be coming to you. It'll be in the Facebook group. You can pull it down and it'll be coming to you like earlier about the second week that we're into the challenge. So be looking for it because many of you may have some things that you want to purchase and get ready for that 4th week for that cleanse that's going to happen. It is going to be so exciting and you'll be ready for it because you've done all the things leading up to it. And it's not going to be the kind of crazy detox where you have to stay home. They're going to give you some recommendations that you can prep like on the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, start during the week. So you'll still be able to go through your normal weekday as you're giving your body the opportunity to cleanse. And what you're going to learn is how to help your body cleanse on a regular basis and not just think about doing it 1 or 2 times a year, but how to stay in a mode where the body is properly cleansing itself. I just want to give you just a few tips that I think will be very helpful as we move through this challenge. Face your fears. We talked about looking at the things that are causing you resistance. We talked about being conscious in our language. Face those things that you're afraid of. Identify them, say them. And don't think that you're not going to have any fear. That idea that fear is going to go away. Fear, actually, God designed it as a protection for us. But the problem is we're not intended to allow fear to lead. So what I have said is fear, you can come along, but you can never be in the driver's seat. Okay. And so again, face your fears, but do it anyway. But I'd like you to think about that. Release the negative beliefs. So as you're working each week and you hear a negative belief coming from you or maybe someone else, identify it, write it down, and then release it. God has called you for a divine purpose, and he created your body for that divine purpose. And there are so many things that are working against you to destroy that temple, but you don't have to allow that to happen because we have everything we need to keep that temple in the way that God designed it to be so that we can be all that God wanted us to be. I would really encourage you also to embrace your support. We are here to support you. Please, again, go into the Facebook group, share your concerns, ask your questions there. Be sure to sign up for your consult with me during this time. And that's on your book again. And then remember the daily waffles. We talk about this a lot. This is really important. I'll go through these just quickly. The W stands for water, making sure that you're staying hydrated. The A stands for air, breathing deeply. We did some practice with that deep breathing. So doing that deep breathing. The F stands for food, and you're going to be looking at the food that you eat and what's going to be most helpful for you. The second F stands for fitness, and that's the movement. We've been talking about how you want to make sure you move. The E stands for, the L stands for love, loving yourself and loving others. So when we talked about that mindfulness and we talked about the conscious language, all of that is showing love and kindness towards yourself. And then the E stands for using the essential oils because the oils help enhance the body. They work with the body to strengthen the systems of the body. You don't have to have the oils to do this program, but they will definitely enhance your work as you're working through it. And then the S stands for sleep. It's going to be important to know how to relax, how to rest, and how to restore. The body needs that sleep The body needs about 8 hours of sleep because it's during that time that it resets and it does a lot of its healing. And so they used to tell people, oh, whatever you're used to, if you get 4 hours, it's fine. We know that's not true. Everyone needs about 7 to 8 hours of sleep if the body is going to have that time to reset. And you get new cells, just all kind of exciting things happen during that sleep time. So we want to add that in as well. So get your daily waffles, and that has all been incorporated into the program here. As I mentioned before, celebrate you, celebrate the fact that you have taken, that made the commitment to be part of this 28-day challenge, less than a month, but you're doing it for yourself. So celebrate those small successes. You will receive a PDF when we send out this recording to you as a follow-up, and we'll also put this in the Facebook group. And it has going to the next level. There's going to be some additional things that you might want to add in the program. That's where you're going to find some things about the oils that might be helpful for you. You'll find some things about blends. You'll find some things about possible supplements, some more additional fitness ideas. All of that will be there. And so look for that one PDF that'll be coming to you. And then I also really encourage you to invite a friend to do the challenge with you. Invite someone else in that's not here tonight that you know to do this challenge with you. As I said before, this program is worth hundreds of dollars and you're getting it for free. Just the workbooks itself that you're going to get, the assistance you're going to get, the support you're going to get, take advantage of it. I also have a link here, and I have this on the next page too. If you're interested in any of the products that you want to get, this is the bundle, the 28 to Elevate bundle, and you can go ahead and order some of those things. You may have some of them yourself. Again, you don't have to have the oils of the product, but they will really enhance things. And people oftentimes ask, what are they and where are they? I do want to take the time to just really thank you for being with me today. This is a QR code. You can just take a picture and go to my website there. Again, when you got your workbook on the front, you have an opportunity to set up your coaching session. And also there's the QR code that you can get the handout for the next level. So be sure to take advantage of that. Be sure that you're in the website. And I really want to thank you so much for spending this time for me and for joining us on this 28-day to Elevate challenge. It's going to be really, really great. So I want to thank you.